Shrill cries tore through the air, whether of rage or of delight, no ear could tell. They swept across the city in waning sunlight, rolling in waves over shingle-roofed houses and temples of the great settlement that had grown around Duke Cassius's winter residence. And then, as if spent, they broke abruptly against the stone walls of the old castle, forever crumbling, forever rebuilt, an edifice that remembered better ages and that had witnessed more than one great chronicle. The castle was a chronicle in itself. History lived in its walls, in its very stones, in the varied colonnades of its courtyards and galleries, in the flaking frescoes, in the carved beams hewn from long vanished ironwood trees, in the surviving roof tiles that had long become a mark of luxury, in the clay floors, in the thick, half-rotted strands of faded tapestries no one knew how to weave anymore, and in the bright, coarse new fabrics that now draped the walls in their stead. Everywhere the gaze fell, time itself lived and breathed. What had been, what was, and what one dared hope would come. It was the 6th day of the Kite Festival, when the hop harvest began, and the sky seemed to have been claimed by the entire bestiary of the continent, from the white dragons of the north to the tiniest birds of the southern coasts. At the old Temple of Winds, priestesses in crimson veils, their faces concealed, blessed the kites, tossing dried hop cones into the crowd and scooping handfuls from great wicker baskets, while children shrieked with feverish joy, "Kick! Kick! Kick!" Above the brightly dressed, many-hued throng drifted moonfish with long silk tails, birds with painted wings so precise they seemed poised to take flight, horned imps with long red noses and cloth tongues flapping in the wind, forest sprites woven of tangled vine with glass bead eyes, mermaids with gold foil scales and hair of horsetail. Each danced its ecstatic dance. High above, dragons glided, long jointed creatures with clattering rings like beasts from shadow theatres, butterflies the size of cartwheels, and stranger things still, as if plucked from merchants' tales, bards' songs or dreams themselves. Amid this menagerie floated massive phalluses lacquered in leather, and no less enormous round loaves of bread rolling across the sky as golden moons, scattering wheat dust like a blessing upon the harvest to come. They had been lifted into the air every autumn since the retreat of the great blight that had burned away 3/4 of the land's people. Folk said that as long as manhood and bread rose above the city, the world still lived. All of it flooded the city, an unstoppable tide, drawn as if by the ancient ritual rhythm of priestly pipes and tambourines, surging toward the castle. The Duke always fled from such noisy revelry, and during the festival he had withdrawn to one of his hunting estates in the foothills of the Copper Valley. No one knew which. Though kindly toward the common folk, thanks to the humble lineage of his maternal grandmother who had raised him, he was merciless and severe with his sprawling family, his court, and the city magistrate. And so when he vanished with a narrow circle of attendants, the castle breathed easier. Life itself felt brighter. His Grace cherished his solitude like a treasure, and the castle was only too glad not to know where its tempestuous lord had gone. The festive mood swelled everywhere, though for different reasons. The castle's very breath grew louder. Cooks, maids, and stable hands raised their voices. Orders rang sharper in the barracks. Laundresses laughed and sang. Half-drunk guards argued noisily, and the pompous masons of the Free Guild, who had spent 15 winters restoring the walls and vaults of the vast hunting hall, An enormous structure in the castle's heart, whose purpose no one remembered, bellowed with renewed pride. In this sea of revelry, drowned one cry. Weak, mournful, barely heard. High in the low eastern tower, in its only room, on a floor covered with fragrant mats, a small copper-haired woman writhed on her side in agony. Her time had come. She carried her first child, yet the Duke's 23rd child. Lady Moriona was the Duke's fourth and last wife. The practice, though not formally codified, had become a grim necessity after the Great Black Blight that had not merely halved but destroyed 3/4 of the population from the shores of the coldest sea to the southern plains. Women survived in greater number. Among men, only those of unusual height. Among men of stocky build, this was noticed almost immediately after the Blight's withdrawal, whispering that all surviving men shared some ancient root of blood, perhaps a foolish tavern tale. But for nearly 100 winters, many women had shared a single husband. Thus, the continent sought to rekindle its lineage. Many customs recorded in earlier chronicles now seemed strange, even grotesque.